everybody, and welcome to the First and Football Podcast. We are here on the fourth episode. Today is October 15th, 2023, Sunday. We are coming to you at this time recording during the Sunday Night Football game. It is currently halftime. I'm here with you in Green Bay. Mike.
What's up here in right around Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in my basement. Just enjoyed a day of weird football. Pretty weird football.
Yeah, very weird football.
Yeah. But other than that, great day. Stress-free. As you know, I'm a Steelers fan. Didn't have to worry today, except for the fact that every AFC North team won. That kind of hurt. Packers didn't play today either, which I do watch the Packers and enjoy them and root for them. So they don't really stress me out as much, but it was nice not having to, I guess, have emotional attachment to any games today.
Worry about Matt Canada scarring you emotionally?
Somebody was chanting Fire Matt Canada somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure.
It had to have happened.
I'm sure.
They were doing it at the Penguins game. And I'm like, let's get this toxic energy out of here. We don't need that.
Yeah, I didn't have any real life football love-hate relationships today, but I had a whole bunch of fantasy hate relationships today. So that was my emotional vulnerability today.
Yeah. Devontae Adams owners,
R.I.P.
Justin Fields.
Yeah, R.I.P.
I mean, Christian McCaffrey. He still put up 14 in the first. I'm pretty sure he was double digits in the first, 6 minutes of the game. So,
wow.
Par for course.
I mean, I had real high hopes for, Joe Burrow with my whole MVP performance prediction when he had 2 passing touchdowns in the first half. I think it was in the first quarter alone. I was like, all right, we're in action. And that's all he ended up with for the day. So,
Good.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. It was a weird day in football, but how do you say we get into it?
Yeah, let's start it off with some notable injuries here today. We're going to go down the list here of team by team. We're going to start out with the Baltimore Ravens. They always have injuries. It was good to see that Rashad Bateman made it through the game.
And also, the running backs did too.
Yes, exactly. But no new injuries. That's the biggest news here for the Ravens. No new notables like for fantasy football and whatnot. I mean, they do have a defensive end and whatnot, but we're talking notables here. So
Odell Beckham played an entire football game, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, right.
With his ankles intact.
But no, with some real injuries, let's start with the Buffalo Bills here. Dalton Kincaid is inactive for the Sunday night game tonight. That's probably already been known before this podcast recording, but still going to put it out there anyways.
Prayers up for Harris.
Yeah, Carolina Panthers, Laviska Shenault, he left the game due to an ankle injury. And he did not return. I have no new update on that other than that. That's something to keep an eye on. Justin Fields.
Timeout. Run it back to the Bills still.
The Bills, okay.
Yeah, shout out to prayers up for Harris.
Yeah, Damian Harris. That looks like a nasty hit.
They said he's moving his extremities, so that's awesome. You never want to see that happen. That stinks.
Yeah, exactly. Prayers up for that guy. Hope everything's all good. Moving along now to the Chicago Bears, Justin Fields. That's a pretty big injury here. Has dislocated thumb in his right throwing hand, as per Jay Glazer of Fox NFL Sunday. So I think they're going to probably do MRIs on it tomorrow. That's what most teams do. Keep your eyes out for that.
They said X-rays were clean, but MRIs will assess further damage. So that stinks, especially when they just started heating up.
It's kind of rare that, we talk about a big man for a notable injury, but Orlando Brown Jr., the offensive tackle for the Bengals, he sustained an injury today in the Seahawks game, and he was questionable return. I'm not sure if he did or not, but with that groin injury, I mean, that's pretty big for that Bengals offense as a whole. So if you are a Joe Burrow or Jamar Chase fantasy owner, or even Joe Mixon for that matter, if you unluckily are, keep an eye and ear out open for that,
Yeah. The age-old tale of the Bengals protecting Joey Burrow has been a sought-after topic, or I guess not sought-after topic, but they're sought-after. They need offensive linemen.
Yeah.
That's what they want to do.
It's been very well documented.
Yeah.
The Denver Broncos, Samaje Perine on the very last play of the game. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but he appeared to incur some sort of leg or knee injury. So something to keep an eye out for that.
Hmm.
Greg Dulcich also had a hamstring injury in that game. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Hammies, man.
Hammies. Moving on to the Detroit Lions, what everybody did not want to see today. David Montgomery, one of the best running backs in fantasy football right now. Uh, he had a rib injury, is what it's listed as here, and will undergo further testing on the injury that knocked him out of the game today. So,
X-rays were good though.
oh, that's good. Okay, I was gonna say watch for, I guess, an MRI tomorrow. But if they did X-rays already, and that's good,
It's
that's
he's
pretty good
probably
news.
just sore, and there's no point in playing him when they absolutely dominate.
Yeah, probably. Let's see here. We're gonna move on to the Indianapolis Colts. Alec Pierce exited the game a little early in the fourth quarter, shoulder injury. Not sure if they got X-rays on that or not yet, but something to keep an eye and ear open for.
Hmm.
Anthony Richardson of the Colts is also considering season-ending surgery to fix his AC joint. So I'm not sure if he's decided or not, but that is huge, very
That should,
impactful. I mean, that could impact the
yeah,
usage of Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss, let alone Michael Pittman, Josh Downs with his recent emergence. I mean, it might even make Gardner Minshew fantasy relevant for the rest of the year. So definitely keep a pulse on that if you can.
yeah, yeah. That changes the framework of that team if Richardson is not in.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Another injury that'll change the framework of a team. Trevor Lawrence, knee injury today. He indicated that he feels all right, but he's going to get his knee checked out. So we'll see what's up with that. I mean, that's your franchise quarterback there in Jacksonville. So gotta pay real close attention to that. You
Hmm.
can't be screwing the pooch on that one. Let's see here. Moving on to Kansas City Chiefs. Justin Watson has not been ruled out against Kansas City's Week 7 game, but he did dislocate his elbow in that game with the Broncos. The MRI revealed no structural damage, according to reports. So that's good news. He
That's what
has
you
been a
want.
relatively like boom bust player. Like he's not really getting all the major points, but he's getting big play looks from the Chiefs offense. And that's kind of something to monitor.
Hmm. They need somebody like that
Yeah.
other
Um,
than Kelsey.
Moving on to the Las Vegas Raiders here. Jimmy Garoppolo, Mr. Glass himself, sustained yet another injury today where he had to be taken to the hospital via ambulance for a back injury he sustained against the Patriots.
Oh,
I mean, is this dude just kind of like close to the end of his playing career with all these injuries or
I want to like him, dude, but
yeah,
then it's just like I don't get what he does sometimes. Like he was, I mean, if you look at the course of his career, winning quarterback,
yeah.
you'd, but I mean, as of lately, it's just like since he's been on this Raiders team, it's like I don't get it. You know, Devontae Adams is open all the time. You
Yeah.
there's
You're just
weapons to be
wasting him.
used. I don't get it, but we'll dive more into that when we
Yeah, when
get
we talk about the
yeah.
Raiders game. Moving on to the Los Angeles Chargers here. Joshua Palmer has been added to the injury report for the Monday game against the Cowboys with a groin injury.
Oh,
Questionable. So keep an eye on that. With Mike Williams going down, he has been kind of the sneaky good option to want to pick up here. Quentin Johnston has not taken the step that the Chargers had hoped for. He's still pretty raw. So, I mean, that's a big deal right there.
is
Sneaky
there
play for anybody in deep leagues.
is there a little bit of you that worries Keenan Allen's going to get the ball too much and may make the injury report?
Um,
Because I mean,
Not
he's been
necessarily,
known.
but I do worry that through the offense itself, they might try to force the ball to Keenan Allen a little too much, and maybe not by scheme like design, but just through the sheer decision making of Herbert.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
you
guess.
know how quarterbacks get once they get their guy, they kind of get Elmerized, they're glued, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Eckler coming back, I guess, helps that. Coming back from injury, as we're talking injuries,
Yeah,
Eckler is playing tomorrow, which is awesome.
nice,
So
nice. Let's see here. Running back Ronnie Rivers for the Los Angeles Rams exited the game against the Cardinals today. He has a knee injury. It looks like Kyron Williams is also questionable, although the injury is not stated on ESPN. So something to keep an eye on.
got blew up today.
Yeah, that dude had a good game. Let's see here. Moving on to. Well, that's pretty good. Not a lot of notables here through these next few teams I'm looking through.
Did we hit the 49ers?
Nope, not quite yet.
Okay.
I'm looking at the Philadelphia Eagles right now. Not
Okay.
too many big notables. Steelers, Deontay Johnson said Tuesday that he expects to play in Week 7 at the Rams. That's huge. I mean, that is
And
huge.
Pat Fryermuth should be back too. So two of their top targets
Double whammy
coming
for
back.
Steelers fans there.
They're going to need the offense because Cooper Cup is not slowing down.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, he is clearly looking like vintage Cooper Cup here. But
Yeah.
now we get to the San Francisco 49ers. Lots of big names here for this injury report. Deebo Samuel. X-rays came back negative for the shoulder injury that knocked out
Okay.
Deebo out of the game in the loss to Cleveland. So that's good news. I'm assuming an MRI is to follow tomorrow. Trent Williams, offensive. I mean, anytime you have a really good offensive tackle,
Yeah.
that's a notable injury. That affects the
Yeah.
entire offense. Trent Williams was seen wearing a walking boot on his right leg after suffering his apparent ankle injury. So,
Hopefully just precautionary.
exactly, keep swelling down and whatnot, and hopefully he's back for them. Christian McCaffrey looks like it's an oblique injury. It took him out of the game, and he did not return to the game. There's no other reporting here that I'm seeing. So hopefully that does not keep him sidelined for too long because he is clearly the engine that makes that 49ers offense run. I mean,
Dude, like, yeah,
talk about Brock
we'll
Purdy all
dive
you
into
want. He
that.
kind of
Yeah.
got exposed a little bit today to being
Yeah.
mortal, but
Yeah,
we'll dive into that.
for sure. For sure.
All righty, let's see here. Let's move on to another team. We are going to go ahead and take a look at the Tennessee Titans. Quarterback Ryan Tannehill suffered a right ankle injury in the game today. He was on crutches after the contest, so that is not good news. It kind of took the life out of the entire team. Definitely
Yeah.
something to monitor and keep your eye on and ear open for. So, yeah, that's just anytime your team loses this quarterback, it's pretty much RIP.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it gives Malik Willis an opportunity to show up, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
that team is just a big old question mark. Even
yeah.
with an injured Tannehill, it's just a who
Derek
knows?
Derrick Henry just doesn't quite look the same. Like he still has gas in the tank, but I mean,
Yeah,
anyway, so that's about it for notable injuries today. Not exactly a short list, but not as long as it was last week. So
yeah. I think the biggest thing was those two huge injuries to the 49ers.
yeah, Debo and CMC, and then
I
Trent
mean,
Williams is also a pretty big injury because I mean,
yeah,
who do they have at second string tackle? I know I couldn't tell you.
yeah. No clue. All right. Let's get into the game recaps. What do you think?
All righty, sounds good to me, Mike. You want to start us
Um,
off here with the London game?
we're gonna start off with Ravens Titans. Baltimore minus 4.5. I said I was not going to take that, and you did take that, and that is a dub for you there. Good
Hey,
call.
one of the very few that I got today. I'll take it.
Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
was. We had an equal amount of picks that we won and lost.
But
So
that one felt good because I know we differed on that pick. I wanted the bragging rights. I believed in Baltimore and I wanted to showcase it. So,
I can't wait to talk about the one that I won.
oh, yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah, as far as Baltimore goes, I mean, I did not get to watch this game.
Yeah.
I was actually out of town this weekend. I had a wedding I attended and it was a beautiful, wonderful ceremony. Great time. But unfortunately, I did miss about the entire first set of first round of games from 12 to 3,
Yeah.
but I did see everything else after that. I did go through and watch the game recap highlights to try to get a feel for how the games went. And I mean,
Hmm.
Baltimore seemed to be back. I mean, Zay Flowers, shout out to Zay Flowers with his first NFL receiving touchdown of his
Yep.
career. I mean,
Uh,
like we said, no running backs got injured. It was a good day for Baltimore all around. Justin Tucker was looking good.
they needed him.
Yeah,
Oh
they
my
did.
God.
They absolutely did. And he just, man, is that dude going to challenge Vinatieri to be the GOAT?
I mean, easily, dude.
Yeah, I would agree.
He's clutch. What is he? He's only missed a few field goals ever under 40 in
I
his
think
whole
under
career.
50. Yeah.
Maybe that, dude. He's
Yeah.
insane. One of the biggest
It's
notes I had was Lamar started to use his legs. The Ravens still look like they're just missing that one step. It's like they kind of fizzle out, hence all the field goals. Like they're not
yes.
finishing. But Lamar started to use his legs some more. And once he starts doing that, that opens up a whole different dynamic for that team. Which
Yeah.
they were using him safely too, I think. It was like, and they need to because you don't.
That's what stands out to me the most this year about the Ravens is they are using Lamar in a safer manner. And I don't know if you can see it, but I
Yeah.
think that offense is slowly learning. Like it's slowly picking up. It's like it almost reminds me of like like a snowblower or a
Yeah.
chainsaw or a weed whacker or something, when it's been sitting a while and you go to start it up and it's kind of and
Yeah.
then dies. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would expect that offense to kind of click and start running here pretty soon. They've been
They
getting
got
better every single week.
they got a nice defense to complement that.
Oh, absolutely. And the better
Um,
that offense gets, the better the defense gets because the fresher they are getting off the field.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know if they have that big WR1. They do have Mark Andrews. I don't really believe in Odell Beckham, and Zay Flowers is a tiny guy. I don't know if they have that WR1 yet to put them over over the hump that they need to get to. But I just wish I thought they would use Mark Andrews more. I mean, he did get I think 60 something yards this game, but I,
I
I
mean,
feel
let
like
me
there's
ask you
more.
this: Do you think the Kansas City Chiefs game plan is duplicable? Replicable?
Completely.
Just have
Yeah.
Mark Andrews be the wide receiver one, and then all of a sudden Zay Flowers as your technical WR1 is already a much better option than anybody Kansas City has at their disposal. Like the
They do
Ravens
have
should look at Kansas City and take some notes and just
like
implement that.
we have better receivers than these guys.
Yeah, I mean, can't Travis Kelce is definitely better than Mark Andrews. I mean, the
Yeah.
dude's probably the greatest tight end of all time,
Yeah.
arguably.
Yeah.
But do you have Mark Andrews? He's easily tight end two right now in the league.
Yeah.
Like it's not even close. It's Kelce and
Yeah.
Andrews. Just use them as such.
Agreed. As far as the Titans go, that team's a little lost. I
Agreed.
did predict that Henry's going to have a bounce back game, and he kind of did.
He did.
He was in the 90s, got a touchdown. I
Yep.
believe he got a touchdown.
Yes, he did.
Um, I don't know what they are. They can compete, but that's
I mean, do they
they're
even know what they
competitive.
are?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's the Titans. Like now that Derrick Henry is starting to show his age a little bit, they seem to be
Yeah.
struggling with their identity. But
Yeah.
let's
The
move on to the
topic.
next game here.
Agreed. Agreed. We got Commanders Falcons minus Atlanta minus 2.5. We
Yes.
both took that, and we were both wrong.
Yep. Desmond Ritter played us both for fools.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
3 picks.
I did not get to watch this game, every snap of it or anything like that. But I mean, from what I could track on the game score itself, it seemed to me that Washington was able to just pretty much jump out to a lead and hold it and just kind of
Yeah.
do what they want. Atlanta seemed to put up a little bit of fight at the end, but I'm sure you could fill in with greater detail.
I didn't get a whole lot of great detail. It wasn't premier on the red zone. It wasn't the biggest topic of discussion. I mean, one of the biggest thing was Desmond Ritter's pick in the end zone. I mean, like we were talking before the show. The dude's throwing for yards. I mean,
Absolutely.
300 plus yards the past couple games. But then when you go throw a pick six in the end zone, that doesn't mean a whole lot.
Well, like I also said, we looked at his, yards per completion and whatnot, and it's in the sixes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of his yards are a lot of catch and runs. So
Yeah.
I think the jury is, still out to lunch on Desmond Ritter, in my opinion, for a lot of
Agreed.
people.
My biggest highlight from this game is, I guess, really not complimenting the Commanders. More or less, the Falcons should have won that game, and they need to use Bijan more.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like we talked about with Jamar Chase, and hyper targeting the best weapon on your offense. It's Bijan. Lean into him. It's like he does. You said he got his first rushing touchdown of his career last
he
week.
didn't.
He did not.
He still doesn't have
That's
one.
right. You predicted that he would.
I thought he would.
And he still doesn't have one. Yeah, it's been 6 weeks, and you still don't have a rushing touchdown for a top 10 overall drafted NFL player here. I mean, with elite talent, but he has 3 receiving touchdowns. I mean, it's not rocket science here.
Everybody wants to see those slow-mo videos of Bijan.
Yeah.
From overhead, those where he's just juking. I mean, those are unbelievable.
And it kind of seems to me that like Bijan has already become to the Falcons what Saquon is for the Giants. I mean, without Bijan, what are the Falcons? Like, sure, Drake London had a great game today, but I mean, schematically, it all starts with Bijan.
Yeah, he's a threat. He's the threat on that team.
Yes.
All right. That's enough talk with those two teams. Those teams are just kind of question marks as well as the Titans.
That was the middling bowl.
Yeah. Next, we got something near and dear to our hearts: the Vikings Bears. We both picked Minnesota minus, or we did not. Minnesota -3. We did not take that line, and maybe we should have, but
maybe we should have.
That game was kind of It was just a battle. It was kind of a dud, a lot of mistakes, and then Fields getting injured and leaving that game really just it deflated that team. They could have come back and won, but it's like the Bears didn't show up like they did the past couple weeks with
Yeah.
Moore and Fields popping off and Fields using his legs.
I think that's shame on me as a Packers fan. I don't know about how you feel about that, but I mean, we should have known that the progress that the Bears were showing was fraudulent because I mean, in the back of my
Yeah.
head, I'm like, are they really going to beat the Vikings? And I'm like, they just lost Justin Jefferson. Like the Vikings are probably going to be relatively inept on offense. And I mean,
Yeah.
I just kind of thought that maybe they would be short that extra score that they needed to have, or
Hmm.
just not be able to convert that one third down that they needed to have because they didn't have Justin Jefferson. And
Yeah.
nope, the Bears just continued to be the Bears and still suck. So,
Yeah. I think the
and
biggest thing coming out of this game is simply Fields' injury. Like,
yeah,
okay, these both of these teams are not great. They're
yeah,
missing a lot of pieces. I mean, granted, the Vikings defense slowed the Bears down, but Fields left the game, and also the Bears can stink sometimes. They don't always have those crazy games.
yeah.
So,
It's like you lost the game. And, now with Fields' injury, it's like, at what cost?
yeah. And it wasn't even he didn't
Do you
he didn't
shut it
even get
down now and tank or what? Like keep
he
him
didn't
keep
even
him
get
off the field and
injured.
trade him?
He didn't even get injured on like a design run. It was just a sack and he landed on his hand weird and then
Yeah.
got up grimacing. And you hate to see that because that dude's fun to watch. And also, I do have him in my dynasty. So, all right, next game we
Little
got
personal
is
bias.
Seahawks Bengals.
Seahawks
Uh,
Bengals, man, I was really excited for this game, and it turned
yeah.
out to just be like a slugfest and just really
Hmm.
slow. Not, I mean, like I
Cincy
said earlier,
minus
Joe
three.
Burrow, yeah, Joe Burrow started hot and it faded
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, we both took the line of
Yeah,
Cincinnati minus three. So we did get that. Um, yeah, what do you got on this one?
yeah. Honestly, I mean, Seattle's defense. I mean, the first half was exactly what I thought it would be. Burrow pretty much did what he wanted, and I didn't get to watch this game, but everything that I saw on the score tracking and whatnot is like, I don't know if there was just slop ball being played and mistakes being made or not converting third downs, but I mean,
Yeah.
I would be willing to bet that Seattle kind of ran the ball a little bit, but nobody really exploded for them, fantasy wise. And everything I can tell, that Cincinnati defense is starting to bounce back a little bit now that the offense has gotten right and can actually stay on the field and get the defense off the field, or keep them off the field rather.
Yeah, one of the biggest notes that I had in this game, the Bengals defense was they shut down the Seahawks in the red zone. Like it was driving me nuts actually because I want the Seahawks to take that W. And it's
As
just
a Packer fan, I hate the
dude,
Seahawks. I would love to see them lose at any time they can.
Geno Smith just sitting in the pocket, not rolling out, not moving his legs, getting sacked, back-to-back red zone drives. They easily could have had that win. They threw a bomb to Tyler Lockett, which was a beauty, putting him in the red zone. They just fizzle out. Geno Smith takes a sack. He's not the Geno Smith of last year. Like it, it stinks to watch, but it's just finish the game, finish the drive, man. You got Tyler Lockett, you got DK Metcalf, you got a stud young running back. Finish the drive and use your legs, Gino. Move, roll them out, get them moving. And they just died in the red zone, and that's really what killed them in that game. They should have won that game. They
Yeah, I've noticed that, for all the athleticism that Geno Smith does possess, he sure likes to sit in the pocket a lot
which I mean, you respect that, like okay,
to a
like
degree. But I mean, if you do have some juice in your quarterback, aren't you inclined to use it? I mean, get the
roll
most out of your
out.
guy, move the pocket a little bit. Yeah, exactly.
They possessed the ball for 34 minutes versus the Bengals were right around 26 minutes.
So, I mean, it's not the biggest advantage, disadvantage in the world, but it's definitely enough to where they could have won that game. It was a one possession game.
They had 24 first downs. The Bengals had 15. The Seahawks had 381 yards to the Bengals 214.
Oh,
They
wow.
should have won that game, but they fizzled out in the red zone. I don't know if I mean you got to credit the defense of the Bengals,
Yeah.
but also Gino's got to move his legs.
Yeah.
He's got that in his bag. He's got to utilize it. But
Well, at any rate, I'm still happy to see the Seahawks lose and Joe Shiesty continue to win. There are
yeah,
some players in the league I just like to root for, and Joe Burrow is one of them.
yeah, yeah. Even though he's in the AFC North, I do respect that guy. He didn't have his best game, but it's better than what he's been doing.
Most
There's
definitely.
yeah. All right, next we got 49ers Brownies.
Yeah, what do you got
Another
for this
just
one? Kick us off.
dagger in my heart with these stinking AFC North teams winning. Why do they go off and win games they're not supposed to be winning? Oh, man. San Francisco was minus 9.5. We both took that and we
Yes, we
both
did.
lost.
Like dummies.
Um, Brock Purdy is not so Purdy.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, he But credit to him, he did put them in a position to win that game. Moody missed 2 field goals that game. Also close to my heart. Have him in fantasy.
Oh,
Ah,
tough break.
yeah, it would have been extra sweet watching the Browns fans be sad, and I get a few extra fantasy points.
What could be better for a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan?
But man, you got to give the Browns credit. They shut
Oh
them
yeah.
down. The one thing that stinks for the Browns fans is the fact that it's going to be a whole lot of they didn't have McCaffrey, they didn't have Debo. You got lucky. Talk.
I don't want to hear it. Kyle Shanahan is now 1-9 against Jim Schwartz led defenses. 1-9.
Wow. Yeah.
Whatever the secret sauce is for Shanahan, Jim Schwartz has the recipe to the sauce. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever recipes Shanahan cooks up, doesn't matter. Jim Schwartz can break it down, and he's got the talent to do it. I mean, Myles Garrett. Oh my goodness, is he a defensive player of the year candidate along with T.J. Watt?
I don't put anything that Myles Garrett does alongside TJ Watt. But he's all right. Myles Garrett's all right.
All right. I mean, that's I'll assume that's your personal bias speaking, but I mean,
Oh, 1,000%.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as far as the Niners, that game, I did get to see some of that game. It seemed to be a lot of mistakes, specifically on the 49ers offense. I mean, missed throws, drops, not blocking the greatest. I mean, that 49ers defense showed up as normal. They looked like they were playing with their hair on fire like normal. And,
I mean,
like you
which they
said, to
should.
to the Niners offensive credit, Purdy did put them in a position to win that game. It's just that's football sometimes, man.
Yeah. I mean, he put him in
Chip
a position
shots can
to
be missed shots.
yeah, he put him in a position to win that game, but he still was 12 for 27, only 125 yards and a pick. I mean, it is nice to see that he's human, and it's a good,
Yes.
you know, I mean, I do want to see the guy do good, but it is nice to have the 49ers be put down on a have him being put down by the Browns.
I think it's fair to say that there's some legitimacy to the is it Brock Purdy or is it just any QB in the Shanahan scheme theory?
I mean, I'm on that side of the theory,
That's
but
kind of where I'm at right now. I mean, I didn't really have an opinion one way or the other, but you know, I was kind of talking to my old man the other day and we were having a similar discussion on quarterbacks. And I said, look at that 49ers offense. No name
mhm.
guys have succeeded. CJ Beathard, Nick Mullins. I mean,
Garoppolo,
yeah, I
look what he's
mean,
doing now.
well, yeah, that's true. But I think Garoppolo would look better now if his injury history was a bit cleaner. I think the
Yeah,
injuries have just taken a toll on him. I think
yeah.
Jimmy G is still there, but at this point, it's kind of hard to get that back, similar to Dak Prescott. But I digress. It's like that scheme is the most quarterback friendly scheme in the NFL.
Hmm.
What the Niners
With,
are on.
I mean, also with the scheme is the people, the arsenal that they
Oh
have.
yeah, not to mention all the litter of talent they have around him. George Kittle, Debo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey. It's like Brandon Ayuk is your number two.
Yeah,
Huh, must be nice.
yeah. I guess the only other thing I have on this game is PJ Walker didn't really do much, but he did have a nice drive down there to get the Brownies the lead.
He
Uh,
didn't do much, but he didn't lose the game.
he did not lose the game for them, and they still had a decent run game. The Browns have been somewhat of a mild consistency. But they just need that offense to pop off. They need Deshaun Watson to come back and do Deshaun Watson stuff that he has not done since he's been in Cleveland.
Yes.
And I'm not mad about it, but I do want to see it come to fruition. Like, earn your money, dude. Let's go.
I think
Play
Deshaun
football.
comes back after the bye. I think he didn't. I honestly think
Yes.
there's legitimate medical risk because like he can technically be cleared to play, but
Yeah.
it's like it's still not right. I honestly think that I mean the dude's pretty tough. We've seen him play through a lot of shit before, regardless of what you think of him with all the
Yeah.
legal stuff. It's like I think
He's a
if he
good
really
football
could have went,
player.
he would have went. The dude's a baller. He's a gamer. I think he'll be back after the bye. That's my theory. But let's get to the next game.
He does need to come back and prove it, though.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think Cleveland fans would be the first ones to say that.
Yeah. All right. Next, we got Saints, Texans, New Orleans -2. We both took that line. And once again, we're both wrong.
Yes, we were.
Man, what do you got on this one?
Well, honestly, it seemed to be that we both predicted correctly that CJ Stroud would throw his first professional interception.
That we
But
did.
nonetheless, the kid just keeps winning. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's got literally nobody's at wide receiver. Nico Collins is your number one. Like, I'm not saying the guy's not talented to be in the NFL, but he's more
Yeah.
like a WR2, WR3, and he's playing as your WR1. And I mean, CJ Stroud is making this dude look elite. Robert Woods is catching touchdowns. I mean, that dude raised from the grave or something. Like, I mean, I know it's Halloween, but wow.
Yeah, dude. The, the
I thought for
Saints,
sure that Saints defense was going to take care of business, and they did not.
the Saints should have won this game.
Really, I did not get, like I said, I did not get to see the first round of games
Derek
for the
Carr
most
threw
part.
for
So
353 yards. Uh, they didn't run the clock, but they had a total yards 430 yards. Turnovers is really what killed them. I mean, they dominated time of possession, they dominated all of that, but that that defense just stopped them. They weren't letting them score, and it's just age old, the same old story with Derek Carr, man. Like, it's just not finishing games. There's always just that one little thing about Derek Carr. Like, some games he just pops off.
I
I
know what you
hate,
mean about Derek Carr. You can't say what's wrong, but something's not right.
yeah, it's like you've seen him do unbelievable things.
Yeah.
I
And in the
don't,
same time, in the same token, you've seen him do unbelievable things like fumbling the ball out of
why
the
did
end
we,
zone. I will
yeah,
never forget that. I mean, like that was like circa 2017 or something like that. And I think they were playing the Cowboys or the Broncos, one of the two. But it's like he fumbled the ball, he was running to the end zone, and it's like it would have been a great victory for the Raiders.
yeah,
And
yeah.
they lose the ball. It's
The
like Derek
Saints,
Carr. He's done that more than once too.
yeah, the Saints were 0 for 3 in the red zone. That tells you the
Yikes.
story there.
Yeah, you got
So
to capitalize on your opportunity.
they have 10 points. They left 21 out there. Or I mean, they could have had, 21.
Oh, yeah. I think
So
that's enough said on them. Let's go to the Colts and the Jags.
Colts Jags -4.5 to Jacksonville. We did not
Yeah,
take
you
that.
you were 100% right on that game. In terms of the prediction that you gave, we were not correct on the line there, but you said Ridley was going to ball out. That didn't necessarily happen, but Trevor Lawrence had a good game and the Jags dominated. So I mean, you pretty much called that. I did
Yeah.
not see that coming at all. I thought it would be a scrappier divisional game. I kind of I almost took I almost kind of thought the Colts would just cover borderline win. And man, the Jaguars just hammered down. The Jags controlled that whole game, and all the Colts points were garbage time from what I could see.
Yep. Yeah. It was, I didn't get a whole lot of eyes on this game, but um, I did make a couple notes here about that game. The few times that I did tune into that game, watching Garner Minshew overthrow the ball,
Hmm.
he just kept overthrowing. Some of those picks that he threw was just like, granted, you got to have a little bit of logic behind complaining about Gardner Minshew because of the fact that he wasn't taking first team reps all
Right.
season. There is going to be some communication issues with his receivers, but some of the overthrows, even the passes that were caught being overthrown, it's like, I mean, I'm, as a Steelers fan, I'm not mad that I have Mitch Trubisky as a backup quarterback. I'd rather have him over Gardner Minshew. I don't think Minshew is, I think if Richardson's done for the season, like we said earlier, it's going to change the entire framework of this team.
Oh yeah. I mean, at that point, it's going to affect Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss, Josh Downs, Michael Pittman.
Yeah,
I mean, if Gardner Minshew might become fantasy relevant at that point. It's like it
yeah.
changes a whole lot of things. And I mean, we were talking about like, do they shut Jonathan Taylor down just a little bit and kind of use Zach Moss a little more than maybe they would have if Anthony
Mm-hmm.
Richardson was still going to come back? And therefore, I mean, everybody who has Jonathan Taylor, if you think you have this league winning player, probably not going to happen.
Yeah,
It might be a
yeah,
good player, not a league winning player.
yeah. Jacksonville, I mean, give them credit. This is their third win in a row. Next, they see the Saints, and they should probably continue that streak. Um,
Yeah, I
Next,
would
we
agree.
got the Panthers Dolphins, Miami -14. We both took that. The Dolphins were down 14, and they said, "Oh, we got to start playing football." And then
Yeah,
they just balled out.
that's literally what happened. They were like, "Oh wait, we're in a game. That's right. We should probably get this thing rolling here."
Yeah,
Yeah,
Raheem Mostert had an absolute game. Once again,
crazy.
Tyreek Hill, absolute game. It's the same story week after week with these guys.
Yeah.
They're phenomenal to watch.
Little side note here. The first touchdown of the Sunday night game has just been scored, and that is Josh Allen just threw one. I did not catch the receiver that caught it, but Bills are now up 7-6. So as far as the back to Miami and Carolina, Miami is just dominant, man. I mean, absolutely dominant. It's crazy to see a team that can just flip a switch pretty much, seemingly when they want to and go score at will. Very reminiscent of the 2018 Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick
They do
Mahomes'
whatever
first
they want.
MVP year. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah,
I don't think they've been this good. I mean, probably in my lifetime. I mean, I'd have to
no,
hear from, a Dolphins fan older than the age of 28, but has it been since the 1970s since you've been this good? Because it really seems as so. I mean, they look lethal. Other than that, I mean, my biggest takeaway from that game for Carolina was, is Adam Thielen turning into the white Larry Fitzgerald?
dude, Adam Thielen is balling
I
out.
mean,
I
he
love
is
it.
just the definition of consistency at an unremarkable age.
That signing, everybody was like, "Oh, that's too much money. He's
Yeah.
old." But man, they saw something in him and they knew exactly what they were doing with him. They got a veteran receiver with this rookie quarterback and giving him some confidence. It's
Yes.
awesome. The Panthers aren't great, but hey, they're giving this quarterback some confidence. They're giving him a good guy to throw the ball to. I
Reps,
mean,
reps, reps.
exactly. I mean, I guess the only other thing about this game is the Dolphins are must-watch TV. If they're on, you want to
Absolutely.
watch them. You want to have them in the
Absolutely.
corner of your computer screen or wherever you want it. Even if you're watching Red Zone, throw them up on another screen because they're going to do explosive stuff and it's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah. Don't blink. You'll miss. All right. What are we working on next year after Carolina, Miami?
We have the Patriots Raiders Las Vegas -3. We both took that line and we were both correct.
Yes, we did.
Um, what do I got for notes on this game? That Parker drop that Mac Jones threw, that absolute dime.
Oh, that was heartbreaking. I mean, Devontae Parker's going to get death threats for that drop, unfortunately. I'm sure. Like, people on the internet are just ruthless.
Yeah, the Patriots losing again. That team is sad. That's
Is it time? Do we say it? Is it the end? Could it
bye bye,
be?
Bill.
Yeah, I think Belichick is kind of outdated at this point. He's just a little obsolete. I mean, the only way I think Bill keeps his job is if he turns over like general manager responsibilities and like scouting responsibility, like whoever actually drafts and like assesses talent,
Hmm.
that he needs to give that up if because he clearly has that, and it's like, dude, like I swear to God, like these dudes could go get the number one overall pick and they'd end up taking like the best long snapper out there. Like,
Yeah, I don't think Bill's gonna get fired midseason.
I don't think so either. But like I'm
That's
talking
not
about
gonna happen.
after the year.
Yeah, that I Mac Jones. I forgot who that was. That Dan Orlovsky or something like that was saying you put Mac Jones in the 49ers offense, he's gonna look just like or even better than Brock Purdy.
I would agree with
Like
that. Yeah.
Mac Jones was laying some dimes. Their offensive line is not good. That Patriots team is, man, they are lost.
As much as I might think Mac Jones is kind of a brat and like a little kid, it's like he's never really had a shred of help at his disposal ever since he got drafted. I
He's
mean,
getting killed.
yeah, Jacoby Myers was the best thing that he ever had. And look what he's doing for the Raiders. I mean,
Yeah,
if I was Jacoby, I would have been talking massive shit, walking up and down that sideline after I caught that touchdown saying, y'all didn't want me. Y'all
yeah.
didn't want me. Oh, I would have been letting them hear it
I
just because
saw
it's
it.
pitiful what's going on in New England.
Yeah, I saw a tweet. What's her name? Is it Annie? Have you seen those where she does those weekly recap videos that are
I have
super
not.
funny? Oh, Annie Agar, I think that's how you pronounce it. And she tweeted during the middle of the game. She was like, "Wow, the Patriots could really use somebody like Jacoby Myers right now."
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
the like I, the Raiders, somewhat like I predicted. The Raiders, the Raiders don't look awful. Their defense continued to be pretty decent. It's hard to tell whether or not their defense is great or the Patriots are just that bad. Max
Dude, Max
Crosby,
Crosby is insane. I
he's
mean,
fun to
he's
watch.
clearly the MVP of the Raiders. I mean, does he have any sort of candidacy for DPOY?
It's a question mark.
Because I mean, like clearly the games that he like shows up and dominates, they win. I haven't looked what his stats are when they lose, but I mean, he
Yeah,
single-handedly has won them the last two games between, New England and Green Bay.
yeah, he's a dog. Uh, the biggest downside or the biggest upset of this game is for fantasy people. Devontae Adams isn't being used. They need to throw Devontae Adams the ball.
Yeah,
I, I don't understand the lack of use of that man, but
it's
like this
criminal.
game was close and it didn't need to be that close. They could have used Devontae more. I, I just don't get it. But who? I mean, with what we talked about earlier, the Garoppolo injury. I mean, that is a dagger, but Garoppolo wasn't doing a whole lot of much anyways.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that he demands out before the trade deadline, or like just demands a trade in general?
I mean, Devontae wants to win. He's not getting any younger.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all hopes and dreams and fairy dust, kind of like taxation. But
Where does he go though?
yeah, I mean, like, what is he going to go to the Jets? As sweet as that would be, like hypothetically speaking, the Jets are in contention. He goes to the Jets, and Aaron Rodgers comes back, and suddenly he's got his choice between Tay and Garrett Wilson. Like, yeah, that's a fairy tale storybook ending, but
Maybe the
highly
Chargers.
unlikely. I mean, yeah, I could see the Chargers going after him, but are the Raiders going to trade him in division? Highly doubt that. Which also
No.
rules out Kansas City, who desperately needs a wide receiver. I mean, think what Mahomes could do with that
Yeah.
man. Oh my goodness.
I don't think this guy's going anywhere.
I don't think so either. I think he can sit there and get as loud as he wants and make a big a scene as he wants, but I don't think the Raiders are going to deal him, unfortunately.
Yeah, even though they won that game, I don't have a lot of hope for that team.
Yeah.
But they are
And
three
even
and
then,
three.
if you are a buyer, what are you going to pay for Devontae? He's 30 going on 31. He just got a pretty decent
Yeah.
injury with that shoulder. I mean,
And then his back's hurting. It's like, oh, and then he had the concussion this year that took him out of like this. There's a lot stacking up against this dude.
yeah, I mean,
Side note,
nonetheless.
Giants just went up 9-7.
Oh wow, all right.
Our line of -15 is looking real nice for Buffalo, eh?
This is why I didn't take it.
Oh, it hurts.
All
All right,
right,
next we
let's go.
got
Yeah,
the
next game.
Lions versus Buccaneers. Detroit -3. We both took that, and rightfully so. Lions
Yes.
continue their domination. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a dog.
Yes. I mean, when he made that critical third down catch for them over the middle of the field, I mean, that's when I was like, okay, Amon Ra is not just a catch the ball 5 to 10 yards off the line of scrimmage and
Yeah,
yak kind of guy. I'm like, this dude is a legit WR1.
yeah,
Very happy for Lions fans that they finally got a real stud ever since Megatron retired. So,
yeah. The
dude's a
Bucks could not.
beast.
The Bucks could not stop the Rams, and the Bucks couldn't get their feet moving at all in that game.
Couldn't stop the Rams.
Or sorry, the Lions.
Oh, okay.
The Bucks could not stop the Lions, and the Bucks were stumbling the whole way.
I
Every
mean,
third down, the Lions were converting, and then there were multiple third downs where the Bucks were just taking big shots, and it's like you don't have any momentum right now. Just get a first down. Just build that momentum.
I kind of feel like I saw that game a little differently. I thought that game was a little closer than what the scoreboard indicated. I saw a lot of drops from Mike Evans in key situations, and some of them not in key situations, but they would have allowed you to stay ahead of the chains. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, what was the final score on that game?
20-6.
20-6.
Yeah,
So in reality, I think it should have been probably a one score victory, one possession
yeah. I
victory.
mean,
But I mean, the Browns definitely would have lost. But I don't think that I like the Lions look good, but I think the Bucks hung in there a lot better than maybe what it seemed.
yeah. Just like you were saying, Mike Evans was 10 targets, 4 receptions.
Dude, I mean, he dropped at least 2 first downs
That one at the
and
beginning of
and
the
and
game
pretty
where he
much a
fumbled that
touchdown.
one.
Like he had one that he just couldn't reel in. It was like just off his fingertips. I
And it
was
just
like,
kept
oh,
fumbling in his hands and he dropped it. It was like,
yeah,
come on, Evans, you got it.
yeah,
But yeah, that they couldn't get, I don't think that they could get moving. I don't know. It just, and then it was like every third down, the Lions were converting. The Lions were not, they weren't being stopped.
absolutely. And just to stack on top of that, as a positive note for the Lions, now that we're through the first 6 weeks of the year here for the Lions, is this the start of the MCDC Coach of the Year campaign?
Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of question about that. That would, he definitely would be at the top of my list.
Yeah, I mean, look at what he has established there. It's real. Detroit is not like they're in full Deion Sanders mode right now. They ain't coming. They're here.
They're
I
here,
mean,
dude.
they are here. It's real. Dan Campbell has established a real culture over there. He has changed the culture over there. And I'm not ready to say that they are a winning franchise, but they are certainly out of the mentality of being a losing franchise.
Yeah, I mean, they're sitting cozy at the top of the division.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier with Tampa, like I think they were a little closer than what it seemed. I think that's something that the Tampa Bay fans can be stay positive about. It's like I thought they were pretty much in that game, and it's dude Baker was dealing. He can't catch the ball. All he does
Yeah.
is throw it. He was dealing. Baker looks good this year. I don't care what anybody says. I
Yeah.
think
I
I
mean,
think Cleveland might have got off him a little too soon.
he was 19 for 37,
You know,
206 yards. Not dealing like he normally does, but I am with you on that train.
yeah,
I I wouldn't be that mad being Tampa Bay sitting at 3-2 with Baker as your quarterback.
yeah,
You got Chris Godwin, you got Mike Evans. You're not in a bad spot. You're going to be competitive. The Lions are
absolutely.
rolling people right now.
Baker Mayfield had 3 different OCs in his first 4 years. Like,
Yeah,
come on. How are you
I'm
going to get off
happy
the dude after that? I mean, he clearly took that nasty shoulder injury and was never right after that. You should have let him get right and then see what
and
he's
not
got
play him
after
the
that.
entire season. Yeah.
Yeah. And, let him get more than 1 year with an OC. But let's digress and get to the next game. Cardinals, Rams.
Yep. Minus Rams were -7, and we both took that line, and we were both correct in taking that line.
Oh, yeah. Total domination by the Rams. Cooper Kupp is elite. I mean,
Yeah,
just,
26-9. That was a butt whooping as well.
yeah. I think the Rams pretty much just further solidified my opinion that they are definitely a playoff team.
Hmm.
Because that defense is just going to slowly get better over the year. Aaron
I do
Donald
think,
is not going
yeah.
anywhere. He looks just as good as ever.
I mean, the obvious Cooper Kupp,
Oh yeah,
Williams, both of those two dominate the game. Cooper Kupp's fully back, and they got a running back now that's a stud. And I think Matthew Stafford's only going to get better. He's going to start having. I did predict that he was going to have a nice game with some passing touchdowns. He still hasn't had that game yet, but they still won 26-9. Like he, Stafford's only going to get better. This team is going to be, they're going to be a threat.
oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, Stafford. Let's not forget who Stafford is in this league now. I mean,
Yeah.
he's kind of one of those guys that I feel like the Rams can look at kind of similarly to the way that you Steelers fans looked at Big Ben, Packers fans looked at Favre and Rodgers. Like, hey, as long as we got that guy,
There's a
we
chance.
got a chance. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's something I can tell you firsthand right now as a Packer fan. That is something that is definitely leaving a fat void in our fandom here. And at least I can speak for myself. And it's like,
Same.
yeah, dude, life is not okay when you don't have that, man. Like it's
My only
something to
saving
get used
grace
to. That's for
is
sure.
an edge rusher, TJ Watt, because he
Yeah,
scored a touch.
at least your team still has a generational talent on it. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. I am not, I guess the last notes on this game. Well, I don't, I guess maybe we should, I don't know. I don't really have much to say on the Cardinals.
Yeah, I have one thing to say about the Cardinals, and that is like I don't think that they are gonna go get the first #1 overall pick because they're a little too scrappy
Mm-mm.
for that. They fight their ass
Mm-mm.
off, but they are starting to show their true colors. They just
Yeah.
don't have the talent that other teams do. So, I mean,
Especially with injuries.
yeah, it's looking grim for the rest of the year. I think I haven't looked at their schedule, but they might be able to squeak out like 1 or 2 more wins, but I wouldn't bank on much more than that.
I'm with you on that boat. I'm not looking forward to the Steelers playing the Rams
I
next
think I
week.
think somebody between Chicago and Carolina will do worse than the Cardinals. That's what I'm saying. I really think that's true. I mean, Carolina, they might win one or two games all year.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I haven't looked at their schedule, but they look like they are a ways off from winning games.
I'm with you on that boat.
All right, let's get to my personal favorite game of the day. Jets, Eagles. To
Oh,
be
here.
specific, Eagles at the Jets in Jet Life Stadium. The line was Philly minus 6.5. Mike did not take that line, and I did. And lo and behold, I've
Woo.
never been happier to be wrong. Mike was correct. That game, regardless of the scoreboard, if you watch that game, you will know what I'm talking about when I say it. That game was electric. I mean, there were turnovers. Yes, don't get me wrong, but it was not like, slop ball out there. It was elite defensive plays. There was elite play all over the field. It
Yeah.
felt like a playoff game. I mean,
Yeah.
this was the first real like football Woody that I got this year because I'm like, this game is just so good on so many aspects. I mean, you got Garrett
Yeah.
Wilson out here tweaking his ankle, fighting to get back out there, still out there, retweaks it, like it's still out there. I mean, the Jets find a way to win. That was crazy. That was such a good game. AJ Brown exploded and Jalen Hurts played terribly and it was still tight. I mean, like
Yeah.
what an electric game. I loved every second of it.
My notes from our last episode, bold prediction, Jets keep it scrappy and keep it within a touchdown at the end. Well, they did just that and they won by a touchdown.
Got to give that credit where it's due. You called that to a T.
I think a lot of this is going to come back to Steelers talk. The Jets are the Steelers. The Steelers defense wins them games. The Jets defense is doing that for the Jets right now. The quarterback play subpar, but
Whoa,
the
whoa, whoa.
biggest
Zach Wilson making strides now.
I wouldn't call that strides. I would
I'm
call
not
the
going to
fact
say
that
he played great, but he didn't lose them the game,
no,
which is
yeah,
something he's very accustomed to doing in his last couple of years.
what he did was he protected the ball. Four
Yes.
turnovers for the Eagles, zero for the Jets. It allowed the Jets defense and the fact that they created those turnovers and they protected the ball. The defense was able to help them win that game. And the defense was able to put them in good positions because they weren't turning the ball over on, giving the Eagles the ball in the red zone or some silly plays or giving them
Yeah.
the ball at half field. They
I mean,
just
I don't
played.
want to take away from the greatness of the Jets defense today, but I mean, that's kind of how Tom Brady won his Super Bowls. So it
Yeah, for
can be
sure.
done.
I mean, the Jets had 244 yards. They had four turnovers. It is literally a Steelers stat line, man. That's how
It
this
is.
goes.
It
Every
is.
game is like that. Zach Wilson, 19 for 33, 186 yards
Yeah. And I
per
mean, who would have thought
ESPN.
that Wilson to Wilson connection is actually getting better?
Per ESPN, with like what 2 minutes left in the game, there was an 84% chance the Eagles would win. And then the pick happened, 91% chance that the Jets win. That's a flip, man. That's crazy. That
Yes, it
game,
is.
that game was so much fun to watch,
Yes, it
and
was.
it just shows how much protecting that ball, man. Maybe the Eagles thought they could just sling it and just beat up on the Jets, and the Jets were like, "Not today, dude. Our defense is elite. We're
And
not." Go ahead.
I was going to say, and did my eyes deceive me? Or was there an Aaron Rodgers sighting on the sideline?
That man's walking, dude.
That man is Jesus.
He's
He is
throwing the
football
ball.
Jesus. I'm telling you. All
He's
hail 12, the real 12. Sorry for my bias leaking out there. But yes, oh my God, I'm so ready. If this dude says he wants to come back and play this year if they're in contention, and I believe him,
yeah. I think that they can stay in contention. I mean,
yep. Their schedule
side
only
note,
gets easier from here, and they are 500. They are 3-3 after the first 6 weeks. That's something that
yeah,
everybody was speculating. Oh, if the Jets can come out of this 4-2 or even 3-3, with Rodgers at the helm, they
yeah.
did it with Zach Wilson. Does that not speak to how good this roster is?
Well, next they play the Giants too. They can build some
Oh,
more momentum.
there's bad blood there. That's New Jersey versus New York. I mean,
Yeah,
there's the whole MetLife/Jet Life Stadium thing. I mean, I'm
yeah,
hammering the Jets on that one.
yeah.
Surprise next week.
Uh,
I don't
Buffalo
care
just
what the line
scored.
is.
Side note,
I'm sorry, you said
Bills are
Buffalo
up,
just scored?
what, 14-9? I'm gonna
Happens
need the
to be.
Bills to pack it. Oh, I guess there's only 3 minutes left in the game, but Giants did stick around for a while. Good for them.
Hey, I mean, I'm kind of curious here. Let me see if I can get back to my notes and see what I said about this Giants Bills game here, since we want to talk about predictions.
Oh, yeah, actually, this is our last. Well, we have this game, and then we have the Cowboys Chargers to briefly talk about, which I think we did cover a little bit on Friday night. But
Yes, a little bit.
yeah, Giants at Bills, Buffalo minus 15. I did take that line and Justin did not. Currently, Buffalo is up 14-9 with 3 minutes and 48 seconds left in the game. It's not
Yeah,
looking good for me, and that would put us tied for the week. And we both picked the same on the last game. So if this does happen, then our first week of tracking our picks, we did tie.
I can't find the exact notes that I took, but I do believe that I said something to the effect of, I think Buffalo will win handedly. They will be in total control of the game, but the Giants are going to be scrappy and surprisingly hang around, and Buffalo will win convincingly, but they won't cover. And that seems to be what's going to happen. So you got
Yeah.
your one perfect prediction. I got mine. I guess we can really call that a true tie.
Yeah, I thought that the Bills were going to come back from that overseas game and just put a thumping on them. And I mean, shout out to the Jets for fighting. Also, Buffalo just always has those weird games where it's like,
The Jets, you mean the Giants?
what?
Shout out to the
Oh,
Giants for
shout out
fighting.
Giants.
Yeah,
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 my
yeah, yeah.
apologies.
It's all good.
Uh, Buffalo always has those weird games, though.
Yeah, always.
I mean,
Every year they have at least one.
yeah, but
To some degree, they
uh,
almost kind of remind me of like the later McCarthy year Packers, where like they look at Josh Allen as Aaron Rodgers, and it's like he's got one really good weapon out there in Diggs, and then they're kind of like, save
Gabe
us,
Davis.
save us, please. Like just go be freaking spectacular all the
Yeah,
time. And it's like they play up or down to the level of their competition. And so you kind of get in trouble there.
yeah, yeah. That keeps games like this close where they have the
Yeah.
personnel. This game should not be close.
Yeah, when like that's the sign of a good team, in my opinion. I mean, it's pretty much a fact. Is if you're going to play a bad team, you should thump them, and if you don't, you got your own issues. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yeah, they
That's
shouldn't be playing down. You should. You're. There should be no playing down. You need to stay
correct.
consistent. Consistency is key.
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to play up, sure, but you should never play down. And I think that's to this day what still kind of haunts the Packers, and I think the Bills are starting to feel that right now. It's looking a lot like that later McCarthy year led
Yeah.
Green Bay team with A-Rod. So
So looks like
let's
we
get into
got a few
Monday.
minutes left in this game. We'll see if we're still chatting when this game ends.
Yeah, yeah. I
The
bet you we'll talk
last,
about Monday though here.
yeah, the last thing we have to talk about here is Monday Night Football. Cowboys at Chargers. Dallas -2. We both said no. I think we both think that the Chargers are going to win this game.
Yes,
Um,
we do.
I think Eckler is going to come back and Herbert's going to ball out, as I said on Friday. And my favorite note from the episode was the Cowboys are going to question their existence.
Complete dumb foundation. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think the Chargers come back and win in spite slash barring any Brandon Staley massive blunders. And
yeah,
Herbert just is too special, and that defense for the Cowboys just isn't the same without Trayvon Diggs. So I think,
yeah.
yeah, they're going to be, it's going to be pretty tight, and then all of a sudden it'll be fourth quarter, and Herbert's going to do something special. They're going to get a free cheap touchdown, and then
Mm,
Dallas is going to make a mistake, and then they're going to go up by 2 and crush Dallas's soul, and they will have been embarrassed last week against the Niners, and then lost this game for back-to-back embarrassing losses.
I agree with you. I also think that that exact thing is going to happen.
Do
I
you
hope
think
it happens.
McCarthy is in danger of being fired mid-season?
No,
You don't think Jerry would do that?
I
Because I
don't
know
think
I've heard reports that apparently Stephen Jones is very fond of Dan Quinn. Pretty much he's already considered to be like the coach in waiting, and he's already in the building.
I think I could see that right at the end of the season.
Like
I
with
don't
only a
think
few
I don't
games
think
left
they're
if they're disappointed.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I can see
But
that too.
I don't think they're going to fire a veteran McCarthy like that. That
I mean, you would
he's
hate to
never
think that they would downgrade to go to a defensive coach. Like this is an offensive league, people. Like you can't be living in 2008 no more. Defensive head coaches. It's like,
Steelers and Jets are
yeah.
only
And look at
reason
their
they're winning
track
games.
records. Yeah, like look at all the good offensive coaches in the league. They're all like the winning teams. The Rams, the Chiefs. It's like
Yeah,
Shanahan. I mean, like just a couple to name off the top of my head. It's like all the defensive guys usually struggle, like Tomlin and Salah, and it's like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, Tomlin is consistent and average.
Consistently
That's it.
average.
Yeah, it stinks to watch.
You can only live on that never had a losing season for so long,
Yeah,
before it's okay. We want to have a very successful season.
you're right. Ben Roethlisberger never had a losing season.
It's very true. Very
I give
true.
more credit to Big Ben.
Yeah. And you got to watch Big Ben play his entire career for one team.
Yeah, and
That's very fortunate. I mean,
yeah,
we look back now and we see how rare that is. I mean, I thought Rodgers was going to do it personally. I
yeah,
thought he would be one of the very few to do it, but nah, Green Bay is still business first over the player. And I mean, respectively, they have to be. But
yeah.
me
It was
personally, I'm
time.
like, you got to ride that gold jacket till the arm falls off, man.
I'm with you too.
Yeah,
It's the same me being a Penguins fan. So this season, I think it's the 18th season in a row that Yevgeny Malkin, Sidney Crosby, and Chris Letang, 18 seasons in a row, those three have played together. It's the longest streak of three teammates in North American sports history.
that's wild. North
Pittsburgh's all about
American
that.
sports history.
Yeah,
That's
three
wild.
people playing together, and they're all Hall of Famers,
That's crazy.
and
I
they've
mean,
won three Stanley Cups. Pittsburgh
rich with
is that.
talent. Yeah,
It's and
rich.
it's the sign right here, the flag here, City of Champions. And the best part about them is the integrity of, even though it can get frustrating watching the Steelers and stuff, they do sit on their integrity a lot. They keep their guys around. The people that make a difference, they keep them around even when they don't do so hot.
Yeah.
But all right. Um, what do you got here for reminders for the next show? And then give our closing notes here for this episode.
All righty. Well, for starters, our next show will be coming out on Wednesday with a Monday night recap and a Thursday night preview. We'll also go over some injuries. Plus, we have new content for you. We have a new segment that we are going to be introducing on Wednesdays called In Our Football Feelings. Basically, it's just going to be like any sort of sentimental football story. It could be fantasy football related, it can be real life football related, as simple as, remembering a great player that may be forgotten about, but just
Yeah.
something that kind of hits you right in the nostalgia, right in the feelings, and just, really touches at the emotional, your football emotional heartstrings. So that's going to be a fun time. Definitely got a few things lined up for that. Just a reminder that we are still looking into trying to get this podcast out onto Audible platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, etc. Also, we are looking into different podcast recording softwares and whatnot. So you may
Yeah.
see some slight changes in our videos, such as things just might look a little different. Different intro, different outro, whatnot. So just we're kind of experimenting, and
Yeah.
go ahead, please comment, give us some feedback, let us know what you like about it, what you don't like. As always, please subscribe, hit that notifications button, don't miss an episode. We
Like,
appreciate every listen, every support. Yeah, like the video too, please.
yeah.
And yeah, this is so fun. I hope it's as fun for all the listeners as it is for us. I mean, on a dreadful fantasy football week for me and no Packer game, as I told Mike as we were getting ready for the show here, this is the highlight of my football week right now. I mean, this is just the best.
Yeah, it's nice connecting with you. Busy life, man. I'm in school.
Oh yeah.
I just had a newborn. You live a couple hours away. We don't get to see each other. We used to live with each other, so it's nice to get to be able to do this and BS back and forth talking football and have our blood pressure down this week when our teams that we love are not playing and hurting our heart. Because I know my blood pressure goes up when I watch the Pittsburgh Steelers, dude.
Yeah, I
But
mean, knowing there was no Packer game on the entire week, just kind of had this perpetual theme song of, ain't no sunshine when she's gone playing in my head.
all right,
I
man.
might be ragging on Jordan Love, but I do miss watching that man make the moves out there. That's for sure. Did you
Feel you.
see him take some ankles out there on the field last week?
Dude,
Jordan Love had a pretty nice run, and he took some ankles out there. I was like, all right, that's pretty good.
yeah,
So
man. I'm ready to get back to football. Have our
yes,
teams
sir.
the rest of the season. We do not get to go a weekend without watching our teams, so that's pretty sweet. But all right, man. Well,
So,
let's close her out, and I will
yeah,
talk to you on Wednesday.
yep. And we will catch everybody on the next episode on Wednesday. Hope everybody had a great weekend and have a good week.
Later.
Peace.